I'm right now joined by Reuben Dolo, who is the CEO of Username Investment, which is a real estate firm. Reuben Kimani, who is the CEO of course, Username Investment, which is a real estate firm that has been formed more than 5 years ago. And of course, the interest right now, of course, if you look at the real estate industry, especially after the election, there is a certain uptake, of course, and a lot of investment that is coming into that end, and especially from the private equity firms. Mr. Reuben, thank you for joining us. You want to tell us a bit about what has been happening in the real estate and especially Username Investment and maybe your investment projects across the country?
Allow me to say hi to everyone who is watching me right now and watching us right now. Thank you, Aden, for this opportunity. Real estate has experienced a kind of growth. We remember last year we had elections that slowed down everything. But right now, especially after the political temperatures have gone down significantly, things are showing up, things are growing, and there's a lot of interest right now, especially for those who would like to invest in real estate. They have realized this stability is good. If I purchase a property right now or invest into it, the returns or there will be a lot of growth, especially where that property is concerned.
Do you want to tell us a bit about maybe your interest generally in real estate and of course 5 years of Jubilee regime? What has been the trend like maybe for the past 5 years in your investment as Username Investment?
To speak about Username Investment as a company, our focus is we focus more on affordable land. Our focus is more on especially the young population, people who just started their jobs, people who maybe earn between 20 to 50,000. And that is the kind of population we cover. Just to mention about the 5 years, the company has grown in leaps and bounds. We used to do small projects with like 20 kind of properties. Right now we have delivered like 4,000 titles to our customers. The other thing is that we have grown in terms of projects. We had in 2013, we had 1 project. In 2016, we had 4 projects. Right now, we had 20 projects. That tells you that there's a lot of opportunity in real estate, and it has been growing year by year. And especially this year when stability has come back, if you're watching me, this is the right time to come in. Because as we go along, especially these 5 years, things will change and the gain will be a lot.
And maybe when you're speaking to the person who's watching you from home now and who has an interest in buying land, why should they invest and of course maybe come to you as Username Investment to buy land or maybe to even invest in projects such as the ones that you're undertaking in different parts of the country?
Especially, I would like to speak especially to the current generation. In our company, we have focused so much on the current and those who are leaving colleges. We call them upcoming generations. People who are just left high school, colleges, they are starting their small businesses. One of the things about property in Kenya, real estate in Kenya, it has been growing steadily over a period of time. And if you compare with many other investment options, whether you are looking at treasury bills, whether you are looking at policy investment in insurance, whether you are looking at many other forms of, you realize that real estate has the biggest return, which is 25% as per 2016 statistics. So you'll find that if you want your money to grow, the best bet for you is real estate. For Username, we have been able to customize, especially our properties. If you come to Username, one of the things that we'll tell you is that number 1, you can trust us. You realize there's a lot of issues in real estate, fraud, people have been conned here and there. The other thing that we have to ensure that you get, when you put money with us, it has to grow. You are an investor to us and you are a customer to us. So we'll tell you all the properties that we are offering you, especially land, it has to be in growing areas. And we do a lot of research in our office to find out where are people going so that we go there before them. Where would people like to stay? And we do a very simple thing. If you look at Nairobi, for example, as a case study, you realize that most people stay along major infrastructure projects like Thika Road. Thika Road was not the way it is some few years ago. But right now, people stay there. People stay in Mombasa Road, Syokimau. People stay in Ngong town. they stay there because of infrastructure projects. So what we basically do, we ask ourselves, where are people going? Where are infrastructure projects being done, especially within Nairobi? And we have even a radius. We talk about 50 kilometers from CBD. All our projects are supposed to be within that range. So when you come and invest with us, and you buy a property today for 300,000, like Nupende we did on Saturday, in some few years to come, when people start constructing, those infrastructure projects come into place, you realize huge margin. So I would advise someone, if you're watching me, please consider real estate. Over the next 5 years, you'll be able to get gains.
But at the time, maybe the country has been experiencing an increase in maybe fraudsters, especially in the land sector. What assurances then do you give to potential investors who would want to, really do want to invest in real estate, but they're not so sure about the company that they should give their money to?
Maybe just to give a history, there have been a lot of fraud in this sector, and one of the reasons, as young people, the reason we came to this sector, we felt we needed to do things differently and offer hope to those who have been conned before. That is the first thing. The other thing, if you look at statistics very fast, just to expound where we are coming from, in 2016 we had 7,000 cases of fraud that have been reported. You realize most people don't report. And if you look at the same statistics, they'll tell you 60 billion worth of investment is lost in terms of taxes, in terms of lost opportunities, some court cases that never end. So we came in and decided to do something different. So I would like to encourage someone, anytime there is a challenge, it is not the time to run away, especially when investment is concerned. You should not run away from real estate or land as an investment because of fraud. And as Username Investment, as one of the trusted brands in the country, we assure you that we have to deliver, especially documentation, titles. I talked about delivering 4,000 titles in the period of operation that you have been. And every year, we are doing so much. And we give you an assurance that in 3 to 6 months, from Username Investment, you'll get your title deed. So you'll find that there's a lot of hope from company like ours. There are also others who are doing the same. And the other thing is the fact that as you try to invest, I would like to advise someone, look for those established companies, look for companies with projects that can be seen. Have they delivered their titles? You can be able to get that kind of information. The other thing, very fast, Aden, before I would like maybe 1 minute, I would like to mention that things are changing. You have seen that from the Lands Ministry. I'm very happy that there's a lot of drive to automate the registry from the new cabinet secretary, which is very recommendable.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about reforms being undertaken at the land registry, because we've seen a number of cases where somebody is buying land and they don't have title deed because there is backlog at the ministry level. Maybe are you engaging government, or are you engaging the Ministry of Lands to maybe expedite so that your investors can be able to access their title deeds in time?
Yes, definitely yes. That's something that we are very interested in, and even the efforts that are being carried right now to digitize the registry, they are very much welcome. We have associations where we meet with the ministry, and we have our feedback and what, based on our experience, many years experience in this industry, what we think should be done. And I can see things are changing, and maybe to give an example, what we expect, especially when you are transferring titles, it usually takes a lot of time, especially in some registries. What we expect is just like the way you transfer your car in a day, you can do that today. We expect that kind of simplicity where this is concerned, and the effect will be huge, if you ask me. The cost will be reduced, the time taken will be reduced, people will have a lot of trust, especially in the sector. And you'll find people who never thought of investing in real estate now coming in, especially diaspora, who depend on people around here to be able to do transactions for them. So things will change and the industry will grow.
Maybe you tell us then, maybe take us through the Big Four agenda of President Uhuru Kenyatta, and housing is one of the key pillars in the Agenda 4. Where do you see, of course, as an investment company, as a company that has interest in real estate, where then do you see the Big Four agenda of President Uhuru Kenyatta maybe in the next 5 years, especially the housing sector?
There have been a lot of talk about the Big Four, which is very good for our country, and maybe I would comment more on the housing agenda, which, as they say, we have a deficit of 2 million in terms of the number of houses that we need accumulated number. And I believe the government is doing, is progressing in the right direction. The 500,000 target in 5 years, I believe it is achievable. There are several things I would like to mention that the government can do, and they have already started. They are doing 5,000 houses. That is one of them. I believe the government, if they were to create a radius within Nairobi, especially Nairobi CBD as a case study, it can also be done in Mombasa and other cities, but Nairobi, create a radius of, say, even 80 kilometers and do a lot of infrastructure in those areas where people can commute. I'm talking about the way you have Thika Road, you can stay in Thika and come back very fast. You can have another super high in Mombasa Road, another one in Gong Road, where Yakwe, I believe some of those roads are being made. We can have metro transport, train, that can pick people as far as 80 kilometers. Basically, the government can develop a lot of infrastructure in areas where private developers like Username can come in. And I'm saying that because infrastructure spending, especially on developers, usually a lot of money. If that money can be saved, it means that I can lower the cost of the properties I'm selling significantly, making housing affordable. And I believe that cooperation between government and the private sector, especially the developers, is something that can help us achieve this target. Among many other things like being able to reduce tax on materials, construction materials, being able to ensure that everyone, especially for people who earn like 50,000, what kind of a mortgage can you afford? If you can be able to pay like 15,000 per month for the next 20 years, get dignified and affordable housing, that would be something nice. And I believe the government has a part to play. They are doing their best, I believe, right now, which I really would like to thank the government for. And I believe we are moving in the right direction.
Oh, yeah. Of course, let's leave it there for now. Reuben Kimani, who's the CEO of Username Investment, which is a real estate firm and develops housing across the country, speaking to us about the real estate sector and Agenda 4, especially the pillar concerning affordable housing. Of course, thank you so much for coming today.